I thank the Deputy Prime Minister of Vietnam. I now give the floor to His Excellency Saleumxay Kommasith, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Foreign Affairs of Laos People's Democratic Republic.
Mr. President, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to begin by extending my sincere congratulations to His Excellency Sabah Gorosi on his election as President of the 77th session of the United Nations General Assembly, and I wish him a successful presidency of this UNGA session. I have the honor to speak on behalf of the Lao People's Democratic Republic in this August Assembly. Mr. President, we are at a critical juncture when the international community is facing multifaceted challenges ranging from armed conflicts to environmental crisis and economic downturn that set back global development. Multilateralism is always at the heart of international cooperation, has been undermined by unilateralism, has been applied widely. These challenges, already exacerbated by COVID-19 pandemic, have hindered and reversed the development gains attained during the past decades. The implementations of the SDG has never before been so tarnished. It is disheartening that the most vulnerable peoples and countries are now suffering the most. Countries in special situations such as LDCs, LLDC, and SEEDs, which have endured the most difficult period coping with COVID-19 impacts, are additionally confronting climate, food, energy crisis. It is more alarming than ever for the international community to find solutions not only transformative, but also more practical, effective, action-oriented, sustainable, and tailored to the most pressing need, so the most vulnerable are not left behind. Mr. President, 77 years after the United Nations was formed, we shall no longer be here in this August Assembly to state any claim, lecture, blame, or shame one another. Our world needs greater attention, concerted effort, and common desire. We, as stipulated in the Charter, are the people of the United Nations. We shall gather here to find the most appropriate solution and take the most urgent action to address the problem we are all facing today. This cannot be done without firmly upholding the principle of the UN Charter and preserving multilateralism. Our United Nations was founded to prevent another catastrophic world war. Our shared wisdom and political will to find the most pragmatic and suitable solution to multiple crises threatening us all today must lie on the top of other individual interests. In doing so, we must strengthen our solidarity, cooperation, and collaboration, and must not create confrontation and division. As such, it is necessary, and after more than 7 decades, that the United Nations revitalizes and increases its ability to effectively address global problems. In this context, the United Nations needs to effectively fulfill its mandate in maintaining international peace and security, as well as promoting development cooperation. It is our common desire that the United Nations be transformed in order to respond to the current global landscape and needs in our joint effort to overcome the unfolding challenges which threaten international peace and development. The international community must find peaceful and lasting resolution to any conflict and disputes around the world, including the Middle East problem. We believe that unilateral sanctions or measures cannot be effective, as it is not only contravened to the principle of the Charter of the United Nations and international law, but also hampers the national development of other countries. Sanctions, regardless to their forms, will not only end up compromising one's own interests as well as those of others and inflicts suffering on everyone. We must also give more opportunity to peaceful solutions based on our mutual interests and build an environment conducive to development so as to safeguard the lasting peace and prosperity for all. In this regard, my delegation once again joined overwhelming global call for lifting of the economic embargo on Cuba and putting an end to all unilateral coercive measures which have caused more negative impacts on the innocent people. Mr. President, ASEAN has enjoyed long-lasting peace, security, stability, which serve as favorable conditions for the national socio-economic development of all member states. We in ASEAN continue to promote regionalism and multilateralism that emphasize the importance of centrality, unity, and inclusivity, mutual benefit and respect, which form a solid foundation in all essential frameworks of ASEAN cooperation in ASEAN. The Lao PDR has actively participated and contributed with great responsibility under the framework of ASEAN to promote peace and stability. On this note, the Lao PDR considers the role played by ASEAN as crucial in creating an environment conducive to a return to normalcy in Myanmar, and we should continue to engage Myanmar so as to ensure the continuation of delivery of humanitarian assistance to the people of Myanmar and explore ways and means to ensure Myanmar full and effective implementation of the 5-point consensus towards tangible outcome. Mr. President, since the inception of 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development in 2015, the Lao government has presented 2 voluntary national reviews in 2018 and 2021, reflecting progress made and challenges encountered in the implementation of SDGs through the National Socio-Economic Development Plan and 2030 Vision and Green Growth Strategy. Nevertheless, throughout the past 3 years, the COVID-19 pandemic has imposed direct impact on socio-economic development of every country, especially the least developed countries, including the Lao PDR. Therefore, the progress made prior to COVID-19 in the implementation of our national development and international commitment like SDG and others has been severely undermined, affecting the livelihood of the people in all dimensions. In addition, we are also facing extreme weather events due to climate change in different parts of the world. Like many other countries, the Lao PDR remains vulnerable to external shocks and has been severely affected by natural disaster, especially extensive floodings. Over the past years, our government has attached great importance to combating climate change through the implementation of the revised nationally determined contribution that clearly outlines ambitious targets of the national action for tackling and mitigating climate change toward achieving net zero emissions by 2050. To this end, there is pressing need for adequate financial resources and technical support for gaining access to climate finance and other sources of funding to support developing countries, especially LDCs, LDC, and SEEDs, to achieve their development goals and commitment made under the Paris Agreement. In this regard, we call for renewed political will coupled with concrete action taken by international community in the upcoming COP27 to preserve our planet for many generations to come. Mr. President, having recognized multidimensional challenges and special needs of the group of countries in special situations, the Lao PDR is strongly committed to the implementation of the internationally agreed development goals and program of actions for LDCs and LDCs and other UN development cooperation frameworks. The Lao PDR remains hopeful and firmly believes that multilateralism, with the United Nations as the lead institution, the multiple crises and challenges in the international community is facing can be appropriately addressed. We are strongly committed to supporting conflict resolution through peaceful means, guided by the UN Charter and other relevant international laws. We trust that development cooperation for common interests and shared benefit must continue to be at the core of international relations. Towards this end, more action-oriented solutions and non-politicized approaches must be adopted. It is our hope that this UNGA 77 will offer opportunities to enhance our solidarity and revive sustainable development path in order for us to ensure transformative solutions for better livelihoods of our people and planet. I would like to end my statement by expressing on behalf of the Lao government and people my sincere appreciation to all member states for the kind support for our membership of the ECOSOC for the period 2023-2025. We stand ready to humbly serve and make meaningful contribution to the work of ECOSOC, and we pledge to discharge our duties in advancing partnership towards a more resilient and sustainable world. I thank you, Mr. President.
Agradezco al viceprimer ministro y ministro de Relaciones Exteriores de la República Democrática Popular Lao. Doy